Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here again today with another video on this channel with Arjen, again, who's my boyfriend. And today we thought we'd talk about a very interesting and curious aspect in synastry, and that is Venus opposite Saturn in synastry. And in this case, the Venus person is me because I have a Venus in Taurus and Arjen has a Saturn in Scorpio. And our synastry chart, they are opposite to each other, kind of with loose orbs opposition, not very close. So it's actually good to not have very close Venus-Saturn contacts because very close Venus-Saturn contacts can be a little bit intense.
Yes, and we're not intense.
No. Okay, first we're gonna talk about the initial feelings of Venus meeting up with Saturn. And of course Saturn in astrology and in synastry represents, the responsible parts of the relationship, the commitment, but at the same time a part that can feel a little bit lonely, cold, rigid, strict, and disciplined. And Venus in synastry, representing warmth and love and affection and seduction and also security. So yes, Arjen, what was the initial feeling? You as a Saturn person, being that cold, rigid person, and being in the aura of the Venus, which is me.
For me, that was nice. Let me think.
Yes, generally, that would be like an interpretation that you would see often, is that the Saturn person actually feels nice.
Yes, it just feels comfortable, especially in the beginning. It was just like, sort of like how you sometimes say, like coming home or knowing somebody already for a very long time, even though it's just like maybe a few days or in our case maybe a few hours. And yes, just feel at home and at ease.
Okay, yeah, because Saturn is cold and can have this loneliness, right? So Venus maybe warms up the Saturn person.
Yeah. And how was it for you to meet this cold and dark?
Okay, for me, my first initial feeling was that I actually like the Saturn. Maybe because of other things in my chart, but also I have a Venus in Taurus, so that's not as wild as like a Venus in Aries or like Sagittarius, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's okay with Saturn a little bit. So yeah. I would, at the beginning I would just feel that Arjen was like capable to like support me with certain things, and he was like reliable. I had a certain amount of reliability. That's the initial meeting. Of course,
the chase completely.
No! But yes, that was the initial feeling. Yes, but it also did feel like familiar as well. But I can't explain the familiar feeling. Mm-hmm. Just like not like you are like a father. Not like that, but familiar, like... Yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Maybe what?
Maybe there was something I picked up that was maybe a little bit like a nice father figure. Mm. But not in like a bad way, but more like in a... there's
comforting way.
Comforting way. Like there's a part of...
And supporting.
Supportive, yes. The familiarity maybe come from the support. Okay, yeah, I think
that's good.
Something like that.
Okay, on to the next question.
Okay, so the generic interpretation of this placement you would find quite often is that there's some sort of karma in the relationship. So Arjen, what do you think about that? Is it a karmic relationship?
Yeah, it of course depends on what you think of karmic. What is karma? And there's a lot of multiple interpretations of karmic around here, I guess. And I think, in a sense, if you look at karma from a perspective where it just means doing what is right or doing what you feel is right, etc., then it could be a karmic relationship, because I think, at least if I speak for myself, maybe also from you, we're both doing the things that we like to do. In support, in travel. Okay. And that's also how we met each other. Across the country. Across the world, learning something new, doing what you really like. What was your passion? Astrology. What was my passion for that moment? Because I like sometimes to learn something new, not for too long. But that passion in doing and following what was right at that moment for yourself. Okay. We got into connection at the first place.
Oh, yes. So you think that the way that we got together was karmic because there was something that we had to do. It was like whether we were going to be together or not depended a lot on whether we took the right action to...
Yes, the right action, or at least the action that was right for us in that moment. And
Okay.
following yourself, your heart, your whatever.
Yeah, I
And in
see.
that way you met up in the circumstances that we did, because it's not a really usual situation that we would have met. It's not
Okay.
like we went to the bar and we saw each other.
Okay. For me, I actually feel that maybe like there's a little bit of can be a good karma as well, like in a sense that maybe you are like a reward for me.
Okay. You want a prize.
Well, not like a prize, but
Your
just
trophy.
the things that the decisions that I made in my life led me to you, for example.
Yes, of course.
For example, the decision to have this particular career or to think in this way made me able to align myself with you. So
Yes.
it's maybe like the consequence of the way I made decisions or the things that I chose to do in this
No,
life.
actually, but that's also what I mean.
Yeah.
By choosing your new career, by following really what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
you already made the first steps.
How about bad karma?
Bad karma, I don't think I have that. I'm such a positive person.
But Arjen,
Yes.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
do you think there's something in this relationship that is something that you are still having to learn because of something in your past? Like something you didn't learn yet from the past. You didn't do correctly yet in the past. You didn't do the way that it was like.
There's a lot of things to learn.
Okay,
but it's
like?
in every relationship.
Yep. Like.
So, for example, in your case, it's about learning to communicate. And in my case, it's learning or showing my love a little bit more outside myself.
What do you mean?
Like what I'm learning in this relationship. Yes. So for me, in this relationship, what I have to learn, or what I can learn, is just like what love is meant to be.
Okay. And what is it meant to be?
I don't know yet. I'm learning.
Oh, so you. How is this karma?
You said, is there something to learn?
So based on the past, right?
Yes, based on the past.
based on something.
Based on bad things that happened in the past.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
I
Okay.
can learn with you how does it feel to have a positive relationship.
Yes. Yes.
So, what are the long-term relationships or goals from the Saturn in the synastry reading? Oh, no, synastry.
Yes,
In
and
the
also
synastry.
the success goals of the Saturn. Because generally the Saturn person in the relationship, if the Saturn is being activated, there's going to be an activation for just also like the relationship goal, having a long-term goal for the relationship, but also for yourself. You're getting activated in your own success as well. So what is that?
So for me, that is just building something together. That is at least a success goal for the relationship. And building, I mean quite literally, building a home which is from us.
Okay.
The perfect way that we see it. And it can take many, many years because you don't always have the right funding at the right time.
Yes.
But-
Arjen is thinking 10 years ahead. What's going to happen 5 years with regard to the home that you want to build, and then after 5 years, how you're going to invest after that home that you're going to move out from to have a new house after
Yes,
that.
indeed.
So in order to do that, you need to save up a lot of money, which leads to your own success
Yes.
goals, which is...
And then in the end, we have a nice castle together, so that's our goal.
Okay.
And then for my personal success, that is just having a successful career or a successful company.
Okay. So
Okay.
you have to work really hard in order to do that.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that takes us to the next question then.
Oh,
which
what a
is...
coincidence.
Yes.
It's how it's affecting you as a Venus
Yes.
person.
So does this take away the affection or the love that's going to be shown or given, or the time to spend in pleasure activities with the Venus person? Because generally in astrology, when you're viewing like, oh, when Venus meets Saturn, it's like the Saturn person is holding back, or they're becoming like authoritative, or they're becoming strict on the Venus person. It's like, why is that happening? It's generally because the Saturn person is focused on the long-term goals, and they're willing to like hold back certain immediate gratifications or short-term things that has to be done for the long term. That's generally what happens. So Arjen, what do you think about the answer to this question?
What do I think about this?
Yes.
shouldn't you answer this question because you feel it?
Oh, okay.
Or not, but maybe you don't feel it, but...
So I don't think it's taking away the love, right? Because what Saturn is doing out of love. What Arjen is doing out of love, right?
Yes.
Yes. You want us to have a good life in the sense that you think of a good life is. And of course you're going to be very ambitious about that because you're already an ambitious person. And Saturn and Scorpio people are very ambitious. So they can be like extreme in that sense.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's that. But in terms of like time spent together, I think that there are like maybe nowadays the evenings, for example, we spend a little bit less time than we used to because you're also working in the evenings and stuff like that. But that's not so bad for me because for me I don't need like so much time spent with another person anyways. First of all, I mean, of course, I want to spend time with you, but I'm just saying that like I have my own thing to do.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
You
I have
can
my
work
own
yourself at home.
Yes, I have
in
my
the
own
evening.
activated Saturn, which understands that this is what is required. So I have my own ambitions and goals that I put that time into, but we still have time that we spend together. I mean, we spend like
10 minutes.
Yeah, we spend time on this video, and we still make time to like make cocktails, and Arjen is able to like use the money that he makes and sometimes spend it on us, and we get to do things like make cocktail together and then have a little we have to go on holidays together. When we make time for it, we actually plan for it. So yeah, I think it's just I think the Venus person actually has little control over this, but it's more of like the Saturn person. So the Saturn person maybe has to be the one to be a little bit.
You have to, of course, balance out the long-term and the short-term goals.
Yes.
Because if you just focus on long-term goals, then the one or the reason why you do the long-term goals might just go away. Hello?
Not gonna go away.
I know you're not, but I mean, if I just focus on work
Right.
and don't see you anymore,
Yes.
then you might think, does he still love me, or do he still like me?
Yeah, of
Is
course.
he still the right person for me, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So you have to, of course, show that affection also in the short term.
Yeah.
Just a little bit less.
Just balance it out.
Yeah. Yes, go
Next
ahead.
point is, does the Venus person feel suppressed or rejected or having a rejection in their ability to show affection and love? And I think this is an interesting thing to point out because I feel like in terms of affection, not really, but there are some things like the way that I spend money for you that I feel like maybe it's not like good enough, or maybe it's not maybe it's a little bit silly because I view the Saturn person is just being like a little bit proper sometimes when it comes to like choosing things that are good quality or things that feeds your desire, your want, or your, I don't know, in something inside that maybe I don't know, but that there's a reason why you want something, and then I want to buy it for you, or I want to spend money on this thing for you. And sometimes for me it feels like, am I doing it right, or am I being a little bit strange or childish with the way that I'm spending my money, like that?
Okay.
But that's one part of it. But affection, no, like kissing or hugging, or not, that I don't feel that there's a
No, okay.
like limitation.
Just like, for example, when you buy this beautiful sweater that you're wearing.
This unicorn bar. Yeah, so
I'm just asking.
no, not because like not like this. Yeah, maybe like this a little bit. Yes, maybe. Or my unicorn slippers, or like just gifts for you, like your birthday gift or something.
No, this is not childish. It's my birthday gift.
Oh,
This is a very mature gift.
okay.
It's sweet.
Yes, I don't know. So what do you think?
It's possible. Yeah. Do I feel? Okay, do you feel? No, I don't think I feel any less affection coming from your side. No.
Okay. But do you think I'm silly to
No, I don't think you're silly. Yes. You're silly, but just because of saying this, not because of all the other things you do.
Okay.
No, it's I don't think I feel any of that kind of feelings that you just expressed.
I mean, this placement is not all positive. It's just about balance. So how do you think we can find balance with this one, Arjen?
That's a good question.
Because opposition is about balance in astrology.
Yes, of
So
course.
what is the balance here?
Whole life is about balance.
Yes.
So what
Yin
is the
and
balance
yang.
here? How we feel better? Because I
do you
usually just tell you and give you feedback
Yeah.
that it's fine what you're doing and that I like it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So by just having a little bit more communication from the Saturn guy, you can just have the Venus person relax more or think less about these things.
Yes. Because maybe it's just the perception of the Venus person based on the aura of the Saturn person.
Exactly.
Sometimes the aura is not, it's like not really sometimes the deeper intention
Yeah.
or the conscious like intention of somebody.
It's just what you're picking up.
Yeah, it's just like your face or your voice or your something like that. It's
Okay.
not really like what you meant to.
It's not really
to do
there.
action.
It's
to
just
do,
what you interpret
Yes.
incorrectly
Yes.
when you're looking at me.
So the last thing we can talk about here is that people will say that, you know, this placement is something that really binds people together and really makes them want to commit to each other. At least as to the fact that, oh, I want to be with you long term, like that. So how do you think we can, or how do you think this aspect makes the Saturn's person ability to actually have like material success support the relationship for the love and the affection of the Venus so that it becomes like long term?
That's a good question. Let me think on that.
Okay.
Okay, so for having a more success with this aspect,
Yes.
I think if the Venus supports the Saturn
Yes.
in creating more material success,
Yes.
then the basis of the relationship will be a little bit easier. And so you have funding, you have probably a house and good surrounding, good things to do. So you can create time for each other.
Yeah.
Yes, more easy. And so if you want to go on holiday, you would have the material stuff to do it.
Yeah.
Or when you want to have a nice house in nature or whatever that you feel comfortable,
Yes.
it can be done more easily.
Yeah.
If the Venus keeps supporting, even in the first part,
Yeah.
where the Saturn is probably focused more on creating these material successes than once he starts getting them.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. I think that is also important. Lifestyle is definitely important as a part of like a relationship. You know, if you have different lifestyle, if you want to live, if one person really wants to live in the city and is kind of like maybe selfish about it, if one person really wants to live in the countryside, is kind of like a little bit selfish about it, then how are you going to live together, right?
Yes, just
So,
on
like,
the roof.
Working.
Nice garden.
Okay, or like if one person really wants to live in the countryside, but the other person can't have enough support or funding or to make that work, or can't build a plan, or is not capable, or you know, then
Yeah, indeed. If you have a good plan, but you don't have the material success, then it just stays a plan.
yeah,
And you can get frustrated over time.
yeah, and you can be in a relationship that's just mental connection or emotional connection, but you don't do anything. So then why are you together?
It's just
I
a
mean,
waste of time.
Yeah,
in
everything
the
has to
end.
be a little bit balanced here and there.
So it's give and take.
Yes. Did I cut you off?
You give me, and then I take.
Uh-huh. Huh?
What? Oh,
What?
No.
What are you taking?
Sorry, no.
What are you taking?
I'm taking material success, and you giving your time and your relaxation and all your thoughts just wandering around.
Yes, and I think it's also important that, because I feel like Venus, although Venus is, you know, loving and affectionate, but Venus can be a little bit like selfish, yeah, and too indulgent in their pleasures. So if like some Venus, maybe sign or house or aspect, is just too into that type of expression of just like, I just want this pleasure and I just want it now and I just want to indulge now and I'm not caring about the long term too much, and then that can cause the Venus person to not understand how to support the Saturn person, like what you said.
Yes. Or the Saturn person who maybe really loves the Venus gives too much in the beginning, so there will never be any material success, and then he just gets frustrated.
What do you mean gives too much in the beginning?
So for example, if you give everything away the moment you have it to pleasure your instant needs from the
Oh,
Venus,
yes,
then
yes.
long term will never come any closer.
Yes, yeah.
You keep working on your long term goal, but you're not getting any step closer because the Venus is spending everything or demanding everything
Yeah,
right now.
That's true. Yeah, so I also think it's like because Venus does rule self-worth. Like if the Venus person can have a strong sense of self-worth, you know, like Venus is in a positive placement or a good sign or making okay aspects, and or challenging aspect, but the Venus person has worked on their self-worth, they're no longer going to need to use pleasurable experiences or a validation, constant validation from another person to feel worthy.
Yes.
Then they can support
from
the Saturn or stuff.
Yes, exactly. That's great. So that was the last question, I think. Right?
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Goodbye, beautiful souls.
So that's the end of this video. If you have any thing you would like to talk or discuss, you can leave them in the comment section below.
Yes.
And yes,
Give a thumbs up.
give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Yes.
And that's it.
And that's it. Bye, beautiful souls.